My mom was involved in a domestic violence relationship, and the guy, he was considered to be, one of those guys who was well to do. He had a government job. He would have been considered, that ideal guy. Um, Sunday through Wednesday, he was the absolute perfect guy. He worked, he came home, he spent time with my mom, he spent time with us, and he made sure that, the household was taken care of, all these other things. However, when Thursday came, what many people did not know, the guy was an alcoholic as well as a drug addict. And he would beat my mom Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. This went on for years. And over those years, we had relatives to come live with us from time to time. And this one particular time, it was my uncle. And my uncle decided to, get involved, to not, let that happen, I guess, while he was there. And this time was different. The guy shot my uncle to death. And yeah, I forgot to mention he was a gun owner as well. I remember my brother and I rushing out of the bedroom because we thought it was my mom. Like, we thought this was the one time when my mom would be shot or she would be murdered. We thought it was. And again, I was the age between 4 and 5 years old. And my brother, he had to be about 7 or 8 years old. And when we came out of the room, y'all, and over those years, we had relatives to come live with us from time to time. And this one particular time, it was my uncle. And my uncle decided to, get involved, to not, let that happen, I guess, while he was there. And this time was different. The guy shot my uncle to death. And yeah, I forgot to mention he was a gun owner as well. I remember my brother and I rushing out of the bedroom because we thought it was my mom. Like, we thought this was the one time when my mom would be shot or she would be murdered. We thought it was. And again, I was the age between 4 and 5 years old. And my brother, he had to be about 7 or 8 years old. And when we came out of the room, y'all, it was in the kitchen. We saw my uncle on the ground. He was laid out in a puddle of blood, and it was like nothing that we had ever seen before. And yeah, my uncle was unrecognizable. Just so happened though, when the paramedics got there, they was able to resuscitate my uncle. And the guy, he did go to jail, but they charged him with aggravated assault. Not murder, not attempted murder. It was just aggravated assault. I guess because my uncle was living in his house, and I don't know. But a few days later, my mom's boyfriend was back out of jail. And that was the straw that made my mom leave. And now that I am an adult, like, you know, being a kid, it was hard. And it was, I'm talking about terrifying, like to the point where we just didn't know what was going to happen. But my mom had the courage to leave. And that was the break-in point right there. Now, I know when she decided to leave that she didn't know how it was going to work. I know she didn't know how it was going to come about. But her leaving, like, that was the courage that was needed. And even though, it was days where she couldn't pay her light bill, it was days where she couldn't pay her gas bill, it was days where, she just didn't know how things was going to come about, but she left. She left. She left. She left. And again, like, to my follower that asked that question, I know it's easier said than done when somebody say leave, because nobody knows what you're going through but you and your children. And I, of course, want to give you a resource. I'm going to link a hotline number, and just know you're not alone. But my mom deciding to leave that situation, it changed things for me, because that could have been me growing up walking in those same shoes. But instead, it gave me a different mindset. It showed me that you don't have to do this. You don't have to endure this situation. You don't have to put yourself through this. You don't have to. And because of that, like, my mindset just, I took on a different perspective because she left. And y'all, when I say thinking about this, and I added it onto to my blog site, and I added this to my podcast site. And when I say, man, it was like just living that whole scenario all over again. It was just like being that 5 or 6 year old little girl again. It was just like being her all over again. So, again, like, I commend you for even asking, how or what advice can you give me? I'm not the professional in that field, but again, I do want to give you a resource. And I just want you to know, like, you're not alone. You're not alone. You don't have to face this alone, and that there is help out there. Okay? Like, I love you. I do. And I'm telling you, you got my heart. You have my heart, because this is my mom. You're my mom. You're somebody's mom. And guess what? You're not alone. You're loved and you're needed. Take care of yourself the best way that you can. And please feel free to inbox me. If I don't know, I will try my best to give you some kind of resource. And like I said, I'm going to link a hotline. So I hope some kind of way I gave you some kind of something. I don't know. But just know you're not alone.